In this episode of Secret Lives of the Super Rich.
This business, it's not such a ladylike business. I mean, there's lions and tigers and bears out there.
We met with the owner, and I asked him, I said, well, why did you call us? And he looked at me and goes, well, who else would I call?
So Jill's have the exclusive listing on the Versace mansion. Get this, it's over 20,000 square feet, 10 bedrooms, and the pool is lined with 24-karat gold. This is a place that's known only among the super rich.
It's like building a house with its own power plant, its own farm, its own 5-star hotel, its own 3-star Michelin restaurant with backup.
You know, we haven't been in New York before. Is this a typical New York apartment? Not really.
The parties of the super rich are super different. We are far from the land of pigs in a blanket from Costco. Clive Palmer is one of the richest men in Australia. He's like a stunt billionaire, and you won't believe what he's doing next.
We're building the Titanic.
It's the ultimate access with the ultimate insider. Money, power, and the secret lives of the super rich.
Right now, it's Miami. We have Versace's house for sale for $100 million. I might speak to Jill 25 times in a day, but my phone calls may be literally a sentence.
We have the power of two.
It's trading information all the time, all the time, all the time.
Every day is pressure. We have the best properties. We really, I think, control the luxury inventory. Buyers who are out there see that. This is absolutely spectacular. Port Tahiti Beach is magnificent. It's in a private, guard-gated community.
Your face.
Private beach. You walk into a 35-foot ceiling in the foyer.
The people that we've spent the last couple days with, originally he was from South Africa and then moved to Canada.
The Miami market is scorching hot right now, more than $500 million in sales last year. That's twice the year before. And mostly it's foreigners looking for a safe place to put their money and a great place to party.
Now you just entered the master suite, and as soon as you walk in here, you get that view of the bay.
You have to see the terrace here. This is what living in Miami is all about.
Oh, you're way up on the perch and you can see everything.
And the kids would love it here. The kids and the doggy, right?
I think anyone.
I know.
So this is a different style than the house you just saw.
182 Bal Bay is a little closer into the city. It's more in Miami Beach.
The property has 200 feet of water. The house itself is about 12,000 square feet.
Wow, that's impressive.
Beautiful and open.
Beautiful, huh? You know, we're in, just so you get the location, we're in Bal Harbor.
Jill and Jill met more than 20 years ago. They were working together in a real estate office, and they turned to each other and said, hey, let's go into business. So they sealed it with a handshake, which to this day is still the only agreement that they have.
The master suite is amazing because you've got his and her sides. Her bathroom is amazing. Come and check it out.
Oh, wow. Oh, yummy.
It is.
Yummy.
That's exactly it, Kathy. It feels like a spa. I mean, it's very clean and white, and the crystal in the glass. There's Swarovski crystal on all the handles in here.
See the master closet.
This is
Phenomenal, huh?
I love this.
And you've got all the cabinet
I love this.
space that you need here.
So this room, from the moment you enter, it feels really so nice.
Yeah.
And then look at your view.
Oh, wow, that is terrific.
That is amazing.
Last year, the Jills closed the most expensive home ever sold in Miami. It was $47 million. And over the past 8 years, they've done $2 billion in sales. Some of the biggest money in real estate is now going to Miami.
Recently, I had a deal, and I knew other people were moving in on the deal, and I told my client, and they were in St. Bart's. He needed certain things that I couldn't email or do the conventional things. I got on a plane. I mean, while I was talking to him, I just got on a plane, I flew to St. Bart's, and I literally flew home the next morning. But whatever it takes, we're gonna make it happen.
Miami's greatest real estate prize is the famous or infamous Versace mansion. It's right there on the South Beach Strip.
And we met with the owner, and I asked him, I said, well, why did you call us? And he looked at me, he goes, well, who else would I call?
The Jills have the exclusive listing on the Versace mansion. Get this, it's over 20,000 square feet, 10 bedrooms, and the pool is lined with 24-karat gold. And if the Jills can sell it, they will set an all-time new record in Miami.
This business, it's not such a ladylike business. I mean, there's lions and tigers and bears out there, and you've got to be prepared for that.
Coming up.
Details of these super yachts are closely guarded, top secret, but we got inside one of the world's top makers of mega yachts.
We use the code names to keep the clients anonymous.
Next.
Neil is hosting a cocktail party in his home, but he doesn't know a single guest. But he's paying hundreds of dollars per head to serve them the finest wines and meticulously prepared hors d'oeuvres. Hidden in a basement off Park Avenue is a kitchen that caters only to the wealthiest and most discerning palates in New York.
So those are called amuse-bouche. Amuse, to amuse, the mouth.
Jean-Christophe Le Picard, caterer to the super rich.
That's a great product from France. Each one costs wholesale close to $5.
Jean-Christophe is president of Feast and Fête. It's run out of one of the country's top restaurants, Danielle. Right now, the team is preparing for one of over 700 events they'll do every year. And this is an expensive little cocktail party with a twist.
These are the parties of the moment.
The crew is setting up in a great downtown apartment. It's owned by this man, Neil Westreich.
They're a little strange because the guests are not my guests. Who is the chef tonight? I'm Neil Westreich. It's my party.
This is a little odd. Neil is hosting a cocktail party in his home, but he doesn't know a single guest. But he's paying hundreds of dollars per head to serve them the finest wines and meticulously prepared hors d'oeuvres. From lobster tartlets to goat cheese and red beet bombs garnished with real gold leaf.
Anytime you do a party with Jean-Christophe, there's always negotiating. And then he'll say things like, with this crowd, I think Prosecco is fine. We don't need champagne. And then 2 days before the party, he calls and says, you can't serve these people Prosecco? I said, it was your idea.
Once the champagne is popped, the guests start arriving, and Neil starts schmoozing with mostly perfect strangers who've come from London.
A lot of these people are English. So they say, we haven't been in New York before. Is this a typical New York apartment? Not really.
So why would Neil spend north of 10 grand to entertain perfect strangers? You see, Neil likes throwing parties, but his real passion is music. Live music, and live music performed by some of the best musicians in the world in his living room. So he reached out to the London Philharmonic with a proposition. I'll throw a party for some of your biggest patrons if you provide the music. And the London Philharmonic said yes.
The musicians, although they're world-renowned musicians, they're desperate to play. Everybody!
Here is the whole point of the entire evening, and it's Neil's favorite part. All of a sudden, 3 top members of the London Philharmonic saunter out of Neil's bedroom and take center stage, or on this night, the center of his living room. The parties of the super rich are super different. We are far from the land of pigs in a blanket from Costco. Here's the host who doesn't pour a single drink, doesn't cook the food, doesn't even know the guests, and yet it is a fantastic party.
Next,
this is hallowed ground for the world's top yacht owners. And the only way to get in is if you know the owner.
It's like building a house with its own power plant, its own farm, its own 5-star hotel, its own 3-star Michelin restaurant with backup.
And later,
I want to spend the money I've got before I die, not leave it to the kids to spend. There'll be enough left for them anyway.
Mega yachts are the ultimate luxury. We're talking the 1% of the 1%. It's the most exclusive club even within the billionaires. Details about these super yachts are closely guarded, top secret, but we got inside one of the world's top makers of mega yachts. It's a family-owned company called Fedship. This is a place that's known only among the super rich. It's a little town just outside Amsterdam in the Netherlands. This is hallowed ground for the world's top yacht owners.
My great-grandfather had a small shipyard in the village, about half a mile from here. He started in 1906. If you have $500 million, you can comfortably buy a Fedship. If you're a bureaucrat, and maybe very rich, you're not the type of person who owns a private yacht. The typical owner of a private yacht is an entrepreneur.
Having that Fedship name on a yacht is like having a Rolls-Royce hood ornament on a car. They are behind some of the world's most talked about super yachts. Fedship built the yacht for Steve Jobs' gorgeous futuristic boat called Venus, and they built Larry Ellison's latest yacht called Musashi. So Musashi was named after a famous Japanese samurai. It's more than 250 feet long. That's nearly the size of a football field. It is one of the most beautiful, elegant boats ever built. Now, as yachts have gotten bigger, have you had to expand your largest shed here in the yard?
Twice.
Twice? In the past, how many years?
10 years ago. The second was we had to lengthen the shed another 10 meters.
Wow. And this is all because boats have gotten bigger, haven't they?
All the time.
There's been a revolution in the mega yacht world, and that's because the average size of mega yachts has more than doubled in the last 10 years. With mega yachts today, size matters. The project that we got to see was codenamed Kiwi. It's more than 150 feet long. They were already a year into construction, but a year from completion. The Project Kiwi is going to cost more than $40 million, but most of that is man hours. We're talking 700 man hours or more just to build this boat, and that's 2/3 of the cost.
It's like building a house with its own power plant, its own farm, its own 5-star hotel, its own 3-star Michelin restaurant with backup. And then on top of that, you generate your own power, your own electricity, you clean your own air, you make your own water. And on top of that, it has to move and it has to stay upright in a storm.
What what do you refer to this boat as?
Well, it's interesting. We use the code names to keep the client anonymous. And if you want to know which country this client is from, the code name of this project is Kiwi.
Okay, little hint there.
Yeah, a little hint there. Very experienced yachtsman. He's built numerous boats. What I'm quite often surprised by is the level of entrepreneurship in our clients. There is a certain drive, and it makes sense because you have to be, let's say, arrogant enough to say, no, I want to create something that doesn't exist. And that sort of attitude is what you need to step in and create one of these things. Once you build one of these things, you contract for 3 years happiness or 3 years grief. And the grief is no fun if you talk about a pleasure boat. I started with the family business 25 years ago. And when I started, the typical Fedship customer was an American in his 60s. Fast forward today, the age is considerably younger. We have numerous clients in their 40s, a lot in their 50s. Russia is an important market for us. The Far East is opening up. Europe has always been relevant, and we are doing some business in Central America.
And of course, some of the Russians like the glass to be bomb-proof, right? No?
No, but that's bullshit because your shell goes right through the aluminum.
Oh.
So then I have to put Kevlar in the aluminum. We have done that.
You have done
that? We can. But if you're that afraid of being outside, maybe you should buy a yacht and stay in a bunker.
So the yacht owners are intimately involved in every step of the building process. They love to visit these yachts during construction. Sometimes once a month they'll go visit a yacht, and they have all these little rituals along the way that they perform as the yacht is getting built.
Typically people put a lucky coin, or sometimes a Bible, or sometimes a picture of their kids in the keel of the boat for good luck. And then we weld it shut and it stays there forever.
So underneath this boat, way down deep in the hull, is a coin or a Bible or something?
In this particular case, it's a beautiful, specially minted gold coin for this project.
Okay, so let's say you've spent $40 or $60 million on a yacht. That's just the beginning. So you've got docking fees, which can be $300 to $400 per day. You've got insurance, which could be up to $1 million a year. And you've got food, beverage, flowers. That's between $1 and $3 million a year. Then you've got fuel, so that's $4 or $5 per gallon. It's diesel fuel. Some of these boats have tanks that are 100,000 gallons or more. So that's $500,000 just to fill the tank. And then you've got the biggest cost, which is crew. They like to be paid in euros because that's a stable currency. We're talking around $100,000 per year per crew member. If you have a crew of around 20 people or more, that's more than $2 million per year. Add that all up, and you get more than $5 million a year. Now, keep in mind, most yacht owners are only on their boats 2 or 3 weeks a year. That's why there's this old joke in the yachting business that the greatest 2 days in a yacht owner's life are the day they get their boat and the day they sell it.
Next.
I've got enough money to pay for it, I think, so that's all that really matters.
It's got to cost at least $600 million to build a ship of this size.
And adding it all up, we'll reveal the secret live super tally after this.
Best kids. I don't need to borrow any money. We can lend you some if you need it.
Clive Palmer is one of the richest men in Australia and probably the craziest. He's like a stunt billionaire, and you won't believe what he's doing next.
We're building the Titanic.
That's right, we're talking about an exact replica of the Titanic.
One of the benefits of global warming has been there isn't so many icebergs in the North Atlantic these days. We're not going to divulge the cost because it's not about money. I've got enough money to pay for it, I think, so that's all that really matters.
It's got to cost at least $600 million to build a ship of this size.
This ship has so far had 40,000 people register on our websites for tickets. And we've had 16 people that have offered to pay more than $750,000 to $1 million per cabin to be on the first cruise.
Hang on, who's gonna pay $750,000 for a ticket? Don't they know what happened to the first Titanic? Palmer is so serious he recreated what the ship will look like with these videos. And by the way, this is the only way I'm getting on the Titanic.
Well, one of the exciting things is that we've got a company which will provide a full set of clothing for you that'll all be providing your cabin included in the fare. Of course, there'll be bustles for the women. You'll have to pull pretty tight on whatever they've got, I suppose.
And of course, tickets will only be sold in classes.
Well, I'll be in third class because that's where the fun will be, I think, meeting some of the passengers. Of course, I'll be getting up at night doing an Irish jig. Fantastic, I'll have to queue up to go to the shower. All those things I never get to do now, I'd never want to go first class because I'm in first class all the time and it's very, very boring. I want to spend the money I've got before I die, not leave it to the kids to spend. There'll be enough left for them anyway.
In this episode, our Secret Live Super Tally comes in at an unbelievable $729,012,000.